Hello, welcome back to HLS Crypto. My name is Dan. So today we're going to be talking about one of the most polarizing people probably in the modern history, in Andrew Tate. Let me get my massive head over there. So look, I have no dog in the fight with regards to Andrew Tate. Is he a charlatan? Is he someone who is backing up what he says? So this is one of the things. So what we're going to talk about specifically, we'll look at Daddy, we'll look at the coin, but more importantly, we're going to look at Andrew Tate as a human being, because is he that bad, or is he an absolute dickhead? I don't know, but I've seen a few of his things. I agree with some of the things he says, but we'll have a good look through that anyway. So this is the coin's website. You know, it's very basic, but I don't think this is designed by him. This is obviously a community takeover. They gave a lot of the token to Andrew Tate, and he obviously burnt it and things like that, and he pushed the price up during a time where crypto markets were, say, more favorable than maybe they are today, because it's coming back down again today. So not just Daddy Coin, but like in general, the market is moving down. So it's is it an elaborate ploy to get into for the real world, which is Andrew Tate's kind of community, which I don't, I'm not a member of, so I can't comment um, on what actually goes on in there, and what value you get from that. So I can't comment on that. I don't know. From the people who are in that, a lot of them are saying that it's very, very valuable and it does help them out, which is great. If that's the case, which is really, really good. I don't want to think that, don't want to hate on Tate for no reason. Do you know what I mean? It'd be crazy to do that. You've got to have a reason to dislike someone. I think it's very weird just to throw out random remarks and take random things out of context, which a lot of people do. I understand that, and I don't like the mainstream media, so therefore I do want to kind of see both sides of the coin. But this is about, I think, the real world. I think Daddy's University is more about that now, which is kind of a link in. So you've got Escaping the Matrix. Like, obviously, he talks about the Matrix a lot. Do I think that he's under attack from a higher echelon of society? Yes, I would agree with that. Some people say he may be part of that. Maybe he is. I don't know. I don't think he is, though. I think he's actually probably okay. But there are obviously things that I disagree with. There'll be things that I will agree with. He's very polarizing, and I get that. And that's what makes it work. Do you know what I mean? That's what makes the marketing work. It makes everything better. To be the most hated man on the internet, you would still make a fuck ton of money. To be the most liked man on the internet, you'd probably make a fuck ton of money. To be anything in between, you're not maybe unique enough, and you're fucking yourself. So there is differences behind this kind of thing, and I do think that he's got a lot of points that are accurate. So this is not affiliated directly with Andrew Tate in terms of he didn't create it, but it is something that he's kind of, you know, pushed forward. Two past lie before you, according to the website, obviously. Follow the poor beta 9 to 5 university route. Invest years and significant crypto into a traditional blue chip only to join the ranks of countless graduates. Like, I currently do 9 to 5, although mine isn't a 9 to 5. Mine's a 12-hour shift job at the NHS. I work for a hospital and the public. The other option is buy a few daddy coins and enjoy your profits. A hot yachty babes, fast tracking your phantom wallet to $1 million. So I believe the crossover is that if you hold daddy and you join the real world, then you'll get like better airdrops for the thing that he's wanting to create, which is fine. That makes sense. Leveraging your fame and leveraging your kind of audience, which I get that. I understand that from a marketing perspective, but is it a ploy then just to join the real world? Like, how much benefit is there to this? And I know that he did massively pump it because he burnt a lot of the coins, but that's easy to do if they're given to you. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. I don't know. I do find now, I don't have a problem in the real world because I don't. I'm not in it. And he says here that paperwork and tech is complete, ready for release of Daddy, the real world asset, or TRW, the real world crypto project. The real world students are about to become monumentally wealthy. Here's a complete overview of the crypto master plan. Now, I think that he has the ability to do this on a macro level. So on this level, to affect the entire crypto space. So if you're in Brett or some of the bigger meme coins, I don't think he could do this based on what he was doing, because obviously he wouldn't have had that significant chunk. A tweet from Andrew Tate will make you a lot of money. Obviously, it will. He is a connected guy. He knows a lot of things. He's a very tough guy. Like, for me, the problem I had when I did buy some of this, by the way, and I subsequently sold it. I've looked for other plays. I'm not going to be investing in this. That could be the biggest mistake I ever make, or it could be a wise decision. Let's say it's not going to be the worst mistake I've ever made. I've made plenty worse decisions in my life, but I feel as though he is trying to get people into the real world, and I understand why, and it makes sense because it makes money. But is he actually that much of a bad guy? Like, I don't think he is. I don't think he is. But what I have found is that people misinterpret the message a lot. They see and hear things that he says and feel as though they're empowered by it. So you've got like people in his not in his, sorry, I'm not referred to it as that, the Daddy Telegram, right? I joined that and it seems very toxic. It seems like 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds, maybe a few in their 20s, maybe a few in their 30s who haven't quite switched on that the world works differently, are very much, and it's not even a case of chauvinistic, but they're very much like, do 100 press-ups a day and you'll be fine. Now, that might be the case if you're just going to focus on that part of your life. But Andrew Tate's not just about doing press-ups every day. He's smarter than that. He's got very big connections and he's done it. If you are starting out trying to be an Andrew Tate, you're not going to do it by doing just a load of press-ups. You don't have the connections. You don't have the ability to make money. You don't have any of these things. And then you've also got charisma, charm, the way you present things. You are not Andrew Tate. And a lot of these people who haven't made it yet are swaggering around Billy Big Bollocks that haven't earned their big bollocks yet. So Tate can swing his bollocks around because he's earned the right to do that. Not that I'm a big Tate fan at all. I don't really have an opinion either way. I'm kind of ambivalent towards the whole situation. I know there was obviously the problems with Romania. There was problems with alleged incidents. But until proven guilty, you don't judge the man. You have to be proven guilty. He has to have done something wrong. As far as I can see, he hasn't done that yet, and there's been no solid conviction in any way. So therefore, you can't hammer him with something that he's not been proven guilty for. I will always say that. But it is creating and the message a lot of the time is positive. Yeah, go to the gym, get yourself fit, get yourself healthy, do all these things, because that side of it is like stepping stones to becoming a better human being. I understand, release the endorphins, become a better person. I get that 100%. But what you're getting is people behaving like Andrew Tate when they're still sleeping in Spider-Man pajamas, giving people shit on the internet. That's fucking silly. That is fucking silly. You are not Tate. And that's what I feel is the problem. But irrelevant to that, will the coin do well? Probably. Am I 100% convinced that it'll go the way that everyone thinks it does within that little niche community? No, in my opinion. But to judge a man, let's look at his tweets. And I wouldn't judge a man based on his tweets because I think that's fucking pathetic. It's social media. You're in an online world, right? So this is what I find really interesting. So the best thing about being rich is making a difference in the world. 100% agree. That's a great message. That's a positive message he's sending out to all of his followers, be it degen, albeit fucking moronic, some of his followers, and some of them are, because they take everything literally. There's no nuance. But this is a great message, right? This again, and this happened obviously very close to Liverpool. It's a place called Southport. People, you'd often go there for like a little weekend away because it was close and it was nice and it was a seaside resort. Obviously, 3 children lost their lives, and it's an absolute disgrace. And rest in peace to them, and also a huge, heartfelt, like, all of everyone's regards should be going to their parents right now, their siblings, their loved ones, everything. Like, this is horrendous what's happened in Southport. And he's put, "This upsets me more than any racist comment ever could. Pray for humanity. Demons and barbarism are taking hold of hearts. We need God, 100%. The way it's been done is a disgrace. You've got people stealing shoes from Shoe Zone. You've got people going to Greg's and nicking the sausage rolls and breaking through Greg's windows. You've got like Sports Direct. That's looting. That's just not looting the town. That's looting, as in stealing, basically, under the pretense of a protest. So I agree with that. Like, that, what they're doing is a disgrace. If you want to have a protest, you do it properly. You don't go and rob Shoe Zone, O2, and like Greg's, which is basically a sausage roll shop in the UK. Sandwiches as well. Some nice drinks. They're decent. They're no sayers, but they're all right. But there's a problem there. We're edging into a very dangerous political sphere, right? So we go further on. What else is he saying? What about you telling everyone to get the vaccine or face jail? Was that misinformation, Mr. Zionist? Now, Zionist again, people, well, the mainstream media will wrap Zionism into just being Jewish, which is, again, I feel wrong. I feel that the Jewish people are very kind and friendly. A lot of Muslims, most of the Muslim people are very kind and friendly. Most of the Christians, most of the Catholics. Zionism seems to be like a little bastardized situation in the middle that basically control the world. Zionism seems to control the world, which is a problem. So maybe we need to direct that, but they own mainstream media, they own everything. So it's very difficult to voice that kind of opinion, I imagine. And this is all obviously allegedly. I'm not saying this is what I think. But again, in terms of the vaccine or jail, that's a disgrace. You've got body autonomy. You should be able to choose what goes in and what goes out of that body. You probably sometimes don't get to choose what goes out, because sometimes I've had a nice Indian meal and I could never control what come out, and that was very, very dangerous. But I'm very much the same with regards to that. I didn't have a vaccine, and I was very adamant that no one should ever be forced or coerced into having an experimental medical treatment of any kind without pure consent. So I'm very much behind that message there as well. He then came with this: "You are a Zionist and establishing shill, advocating for the silence of an entire population. You said my videos are inaccurate and aren't yours, the BBC. Only Ministry of Truth narratives are acceptable. At least I got to condemn Israel. Shame it was 9 months too late." So the Israel-Palestine thing, there's fault on both sides. It's not something I'm going to go directly into. Hamas are obviously a terrorist organization. I think that there's obviously problems also with Israel. There is a very big divide over that. Because I don't want to go too deep into that, because you need more knowledge than what I can give you. I'm more interested in the coin, but the reason why I'm speaking about Tate so much is because he's obviously the guy who's now promoting this coin. So is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Essentially, the recent attempts at narrative control have once again convinced me the Rumble and X are literally saving the world. If they weren't here, we'd all be slaves by now, trapped in perma-lies. Freedom fighters disappearing in the night. The average man will be left with. I imagine this goes on, but we'll see what it says. The average man left with the life of quiet depression, watching his world fall apart and his children die. Nobody hear him scream. So yeah, again, important messages, right? Other alternative platforms do give you a bit more freedom than what we experience here, and maybe on other platforms. But the thing is here is like the average man would be left with a quiet depression. So when you do exercises, when you do push-ups, sit-ups, things like that, releases endorphins, make you feel better. So I agree with that. I agree with the if you could um, do exercises, things that make you feel better, you would naturally feel better. Therefore, you would have less reason to be depressed. So that's good. The messages are good, but I think a lot of the time these get taken out of context and he gets labelled with certain things. Now, I'm not a Tate supporter. I'm not a Tate fan. I'm not in the real world. I don't give a fuck really about Andrew Tate, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't know who the fuck I am, which means who's the winner? It's going to be Andrew Tate, isn't it? He's the winner because he's living this lifestyle. And don't get me wrong, there is many people that would love to live his lifestyle. It's extravagant, beautiful women all the time, the fanciest cars, doing what you want to do. That's freedom. He's got freedom. So forget the money side of things. He has freedom to a certain extent. I know that obviously court cases back and forth, but essentially he has freedom. And he has freedom more than anyone, probably 90% of the planet right now will never experience the level of freedom that Andrew Tate's got, which I'm fine with. That's fine. He's done what he had to do. But everyone in his like close knit real world stuff, they may be fine. But what they're breeding outside of that, just from out of context clips, and I think, and again, this can't be directed at his being his fault, but out of context clips, all these kind of shortened messages, we don't see the full picture. It makes him look worse than what he is. I think he handled himself very well. He's always very articulate. He's always very. I think he's a bright guy, but this is the problem. So he's a bright guy. He's a big guy. He knows how to work at the gym. He's obviously been brought up pretty well, and he knows things. And he's trying to impart his wisdom. But the problem with that is, you can get groups of little idiots who will accept that wisdom falsely, and then go and steal from Greg's, or then go and be like, oh no, every woman's a bitch, everything like that. When even Andrew Tate's like, no, you find yourself a good one, that's a good one. It's just crazy. It's just crazy how a society, not a full society, but like a group of individuals, can follow him blindly, but not understand some of the nuances, some of the different ways that he's thinking. He's bringing you great information, but a lot of the time it can be misinterpreted, and then it's like, oh, well, you're either for Tate or against Tate, and it's not necessary. It's so silly sometimes. We'll have a look at his coin. It's not directly his coin. It's a community takeover, and obviously he got a large amount of it. It's doing horrific over the last 24 hours, but to be fair, most things are. But then we look at the max chart, and I think this is the most important. It's dropping. It is dropping. Now, the way for Tate to obviously push that up would be to buy a shit ton of them and burn them, make the daddy coin, like, make it 10,000 available. That would make things very different. The scarcity of that would cause that price to be very, very high. Obviously, the liquidity would be low because there's not many people could buy it, but he could do things like that. But it's up to him what he does. I thought we'd cover it. I thought we had to cover it. Very polarizing guy. I have no problem with him. You do you. Do whatever you want to do. I know there's a lot of fuck boys in who wannabe Tates. Wannabe Tates can fuck off. Like, fill my comment section. Tell me all you want. If the real Tate wants to have a chat, 100%. Always would that be down for that. 100%. Because he's a bright guy. But all the wannabe fuck boys, you can fill my comments with whatever you want, and I'm happy for it. It's fine. I actually bought this coin, to be fair. I joined the Telegram, and that's when I was thinking, when I was going for the Telegram, I was thinking, oh, this is toxic. There's so many toxic fucking idiots in there that I decided, nah, I'm all right. Sold it. This is like maybe 2-3 weeks ago. Do I think this will recover? Do I think it'll do well? Probably, yeah. If Tate stays behind it and he keep buying some, burning some, I think that'll progress because he doesn't need the money. He does not need the money, so he could just not bother with this. But he's obviously taken an interest. And because he's taken an interest, it's probably something to stand and take notice to. Will I buy any more? No, I'm not really asked about it. But it needs to be covered. Um, but I do think it'll do well. How well, I don't know. I'm not going to be predicting 100x or anything like that for that. I think Brett, Bubba, I think there's a few other meme coins. Some of the Trump meme coins getting close to election, probably a better play. And if you wanted to buy some Tate, maybe getting a Trump meme coin now, let that rocket up on the build to election, sell a bit of that, buy a bit of daddy. You mean, well, obviously, no financial advice. You do what you need to do. Crypto in general is had a little bit more of a dip today. Things are going down a little bit more. Will the bleed stop? I think it will. I'm not so concerned about it. To keep, for me, it'd be DCA, DCA, DCA. Buy the absolute bottoms of this dip and see how you fare. I think anything red days are always opportunities for me. I think that's the best way to look at it. But that being said, if you're a Tate fan, let me know. I've got nothing against him. Stick it in the comments below. Wherever you're in the world, whatever you're doing, have an amazing day, have an amazing evening, and as always, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Goodbye.